Well, good afternoon. We have more good news in the health department's effort to get vaccines out to more Detroiters. It's remarkable what's happening over at the TCF building today. We're going to vaccinate more than 3,000 people, and they continue to move them through very smoothly, and spirits over there are just great. We're in a position now to expand our categories again, and we wanted to reach out to the men and women who are going to work every day doing their jobs who are most at risk for COVID exposure. And the groups I'm going to show you now are eligible to call today to the number. And so it's any employee living or working in the city of Detroit in any one of these groups. We're going to start with our food and beverage workers. Anybody handling food or beverages anywhere in Detroit's food supply. So any grocery store worker, any restaurant worker. Now the restaurants are reopened again. They're handling our food and drinks. People in the meat packing industry, the bottling industry, and the like. Anybody who is handling food and beverages, if you live or work in the city, you can call today and you can get a vaccine very shortly. The next group are security guards, and we are passing by them every day. Sometimes you may not focus on it, but these individuals are having to interact with a lot of the public. They are at risk for the transmission. We have had all other law enforcement officers have been eligible, but we want to respect the fact that our security guards that are working are also doing that. And there's another group that too often is overlooked, and that's the janitors who live or work in the city. Every single night, they are going into offices that may be contaminated with COVID germs. They are cleaning those facilities so people can come back to work safely the next day. And I think we need to recognize the fact that our janitors are potentially exposed to COVID on a daily basis, and they too deserve the same protection as other essential workers. So if you live or work in the city and you are in any one of these jobs, call 313-230-0505. Tell them who you work for, you tell them the name of the company, and then when you arrive on the day of your vaccine, show them your pay stub or your employee ID to verify that that's your job, and you will be let in for the vaccination. We have the easiest registration vaccination process anywhere in the country. Here's the one thing that our team is asking, is that we are moving 3,000 cars a day through the TCF Center. It is a whole lot easier to move folks through the center if we've got 2 or 3 people to a car. That is, it takes up just about the same amount of space. It doesn't take up very much more time. And so what the team is asking is that if you've got other people, you all have to be eligible. But if 2 or 3 of you work at the same restaurant, you work at the same grocery store, you work at the same company, you know you're going, get together in one car. Everybody's got to be eligible, but one person can make the phone call. You can book 2 or 3 people. If you do that, you need to have 6 pieces of information for your friends you're booking with you. Their name, their address, their date of birth, their phone number, their email, and have they had allergic reactions to vaccines in the past. So, one coworker can pick up the phone, book 3 people in a car to one appointment right now, as long as you have these 6 items, and they will be up on our website in case you can't remember them, but they're the kind of basic things that you would expect. If we can get more and more 2 to 3 in a car, this will go so much faster, and we'll be able to expand again even quicker. The next piece is this. The Denise Fair and the Health Department is now tripling our outreach to those who don't get around as easily, into our senior citizen centers, into our homeless centers, into our mental health agencies, and those adult foster care homes. And to talk about how she's going about that, the progress she's made, is the Health Director, Denise Fair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so you're absolutely correct. We are tripling our efforts this week. I want to share where we have been over the last couple of weeks. So far, we vaccinated 503 residents and staff at 11 senior apartments and 711 residents and staff at 12 homeless shelters. So we've made a lot of progress. And here's where we're going to go for this week, February 1st. Covenant House, Volunteers of America, Faith Clinic, Love Outreach, Vernon Center. I'm not going to read everyone, but we are really busy. And again, our goal is shots in arms. And we want to provide the vaccine directly to those who need it in our congregate settings, including the seniors, homeless shelters, mental health facilities, substance abuse centers. So again, that work will continue this week. Now, I do want to remind everyone that the vaccine is safe and it saves lives. It is the best tool that we have right now to beat this pandemic. And we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And so we should not let our guard down. So please continue to wash your hands, wear your mask, practice social distancing. Please make sure that you follow these safety precautions. Again, even if you've already had your first dose and your second dose, I still encourage you to follow those safety precautions. So again, we're going to continue our outreach. We'll make sure that we provide an update on a weekly basis to make sure that you are aware. Feel free to go to our website, detroitmi.gov/health. Give us a call, 313-876-4000 if you have any questions. We are here to serve the people of the city. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
So there is a real chance this summer we could be back to normal, out interacting. But it means we've got to get vaccinated. And there is no place else where you can dial the phone. You typically get on in 10 or 15 minutes. You get your appointment. You drive in, and you're usually out in 35 to 40 minutes. And so we're going to continue to expand this to more and more Detroiters. And this is really our choice. We can take back the city and the life we had by signing up. So please, you know folks who fall into these categories that are eligible today. Call them, book 2 to 3 in a car, and come on out. The other thing that we're going to talk about today is the pocketbooks of Detroiters. And I have the partners with us in what has been a nationally awarded campaign for the Earned Income Tax Credit. And it's been amazing how much progress we made. We started in 2017 when I realized that Detroiters had $80 million in potential refunds coming from the IRS that they weren't filing because folks thought I made so little money I can't possibly have a refund, except the Earned Income Tax Credit is your tax break. And so the partners that we have here today from the Accounting Aid Society, Wayne Metro, and the United Way have been doing this now for 4 years. They have it down to a science, and they will help you. And as a result, we have $56 million more every single year going back into the pockets of our families. And this is money you've got available for your children, for your rent, for your food. And all you have to do is contact us, and the teams here have been responsible for a big part of 90,000 Detroiters who last year claimed their Earned Income Tax Credit. If you earned money last year, there's a good chance you're eligible. So it's for working families who meet certain income. So let me show you how it works. If the more children you have, the more your break is. And so if you have no children in your household and you make $15,000 as a single head of household or $21,000 married, you can get $538 back. That's $538 is pretty good. If you've got one child, you can make up to $47,000 and you can get $3,500 back. And as you go down, we have people in the city who are getting an earned income tax check in their pocket of $6,000 if you have 3 or more children. And you can see how high the income goes. You could make up upwards of $50,000 if you have 2 or 3 children and still get that money back. There's a change this year that's to your advantage, because a lot of folks this year were laid off and didn't have income, and so the law is now allowing you to take your earned income from 2019. So if you made money 2 years ago, you can still fill out your form and you can still get your refund check. It's interesting, even if you don't owe any money, you could potentially get a check back because of the assistance of the people I'm going to show you. So this is really simple. The City of Detroit has teamed up with our partners. All you have to do is go to claimyourrefund.com. It's the city webpage. It will show you how to book your virtual appointment, or if you don't have access to the internet, call 211 and they will schedule this for you. The filings for the IRS are going to be allowed to start in a couple of weeks, and I want some of the experts to talk to you about how easy this is. Nobody charges you. It's a free tax return. You come in, and our volunteers do it. And let me start with somebody who's been driving this program for years. The Accounting Aid Society has just been terrific. The accountants who have just volunteered their time to do these taxes. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Arrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to say that we at Accounting Aid have had the privilege of working with you and your staff for these past 4 years, and been phenomenal. And thank you for having me this afternoon. Well, as the mayor indicated, there is a look-back period this year. So you can use your 2019 or 2020 income, whatever works best, so you can get the highest amount for your earned income tax credit. And also, it potentially lets you qualify for that child tax credit. That's up to $1,400 in a refundable credit. So that's another wonderful benefit of this look-back provision. Another thing this year is that we have a recovery rebate credit. So if you recall, there were 2 stimulus checks or 2 stimulus payments that were approved. One was in March and one was in December. So some people did not receive all of that they should have gotten. So if that's the case, this year you can file what's called a recovery rebate credit if you file your taxes in 2021, and you can get that full amount of money. I should also mention a lot of people got unemployment benefits. Those are not considered earned income, and they are taxable. So if you did not have taxes withheld, you may actually owe some money or you may have your refund reduced, but we'll help you through that. The mayor indicated that the IRS will be processing returns in a few weeks. They will be accepting e-filed or other returns on February 12th. They want to make sure that the software is right, all the calculations are good, excuse me. So they won't start accepting them until February 12th. But the good news is that Accounting Aid and Wayne Metro, we're here all year long. We're going to make sure we get you in for an appointment. We're going to be here to help you through all these changes, and we're not going anywhere. We do ask, though, for your patience, because as you can imagine, both agencies are getting a ton of calls, and we're working through this as best we can. Accounting Aid has been doing this work for almost 50 years in the community. And last year we helped over 14,000 taxpayers file their returns, and about 3,000 of those were remote or virtual. And I'd like to really recommend this option to you, and my colleague Troy at Wayne Metro is going to talk about it a little bit more. But you do it in the convenience of your own home. It's been IRS approved, it's secure, and all you need are a few simple tools I'll let Troy talk to you about. Of the clients we surveyed who did this with us last year, about 93% said this is the way they'd like to do it moving forward, and they all said they would recommend it to their families and friends. Also, about 70% of our clients said that they were much more comfortable using technology than they were in the past. So it's a really nice benefit, and again, it's in the convenience of your own home. I think that's all I'm going to cover, so Troy, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Wayne Metro is very proud to deliver the vital free income tax prep services to our community. Modest income workers and families, there's no better way to maximize their refund and receive all the credits that they are due. Taxpayers can rest assured that Wayne Metro is IRS certified preparers have your best financial interest at heart when you come to us for services. I'll talk about some of the basic criteria, eligibility criteria for the program, for the VITA program. The basic requirement is that you have household income under $57,000. So that includes single taxpayers or married filing joint or married filing single taxpayers. Residents can schedule their appointments with Wayne Metro or Accounting Aid Society by visiting claimyourrefund.com. That website will direct you to either Wayne Metro or Accounting Aid based on your preferences. During your appointment, an intake specialist will collect all the required documentation and everything that you need. Now, what you're going to need to get through this process are a few simple things. You're going to need an email address. You are also going to need a web-connected device such as a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop. That's it. If you have those things, we can get you through this process. Last year in March, when the state issued the lockdown, we had a client that was 87 years old, a Detroit resident. He had never used the internet, did not have an email address. We walked him through setting up an email address. He had an iPad that his grandchildren had given him for Christmas the year before. He had never really used it. We walked him through this process, and he said he was so excited. He said next year he's definitely going to do this whether we were open or not. So stories like that, let us know that this process works. It is safe, it is fast, it is effective, and we pride ourselves on delivering excellent customer service to our clients. Once the intake specialist walks you through your intake process, you will then have your return prepared. We will contact you, review the return with you, and send you your documents electronically to your email address where you can sign, and we will electronically file your tax return. I believe that's all I have to offer.
Troy, I didn't realize you had that full range of services, but a year ago I gave my mother an iPad for Christmas. If you could call her next, I think that would be
I'd be happy
a real
to.
help. You can see what a great team effort this is, and none of it would be possible without the support of the United Way, and we want to thank Kyle Dubuck for the role that you guys have played.
Thank you, Mayor. So on behalf of United Way for Southeastern Michigan, really excited to be here today in partnership with the City of Detroit and Accounting Aid Society and Wayne Metro, as well as community members. We believe that in the power of community and that together we can achieve more together than we ever could apart. And we're so thrilled to be a part of this work group that year after year has been demonstrating that. As you've heard today, the EITC provides a vital income boost for working families by allowing them to keep more of their hard-earned money. And this partnership has been built specifically to ensure that people secure the full credit that they have earned. And this not only helps to boost household budgets and ensure people can provide for their basic daily needs or have a little bit set aside in case of emergency, but it also bolsters the local economy, both of which are more important this year given the impact COVID-19 has had on our community. So we're thrilled with the tangible results that we've been able to generate to date by focusing on increasing awareness of the credit and improving access to free tax prep. Over the past several years, we've helped put more than $56 million upwards of $56 million into the pockets of Detroiters annually. And this is a direct result of the coordinated efforts of the organizations represented here and of the city, and including a United Way investment of about $350,000 this year. So a key aspect of that coordination has traditionally been scheduling, as the mayor said this year. Easy online scheduling is available at claimyourrefund.com. And as in previous years, 211, our 24/7 resource hotline, is available to help folks get scheduled. I would note that given the increased need across our community, again, from the impact of the pandemic, call volumes have been incredibly high. So if that is the best on-ramp for you to get an appointment, we encourage you to use it, but ask for your patience as volumes are high and wait times are a little bit longer than we would ideally like them to be. And for those that feel comfortable navigating online software, you can also use UnitedWay's myfreetaxes.com to file on your own using an easy question and answer format. There's no appointment needed. There's no income criteria. It's available for anyone who would like to use it at myfreetaxes.com. So again, I'll just say, thank you to the partners represented here for the awesome work you've all been doing, which has yielded, real meaningful results for so many families across the city. And thank you also to Mayor Duggan for your leadership on this effort, which we're really proud to be a part of. And lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't note that, we actually can do even more to increase incomes for Michigan workers by increasing our state earned income tax credit. So, we'd urge the legislature and the governor to consider putting that, this really important and effective benefit for working households at the top of the legislative agenda this year. With that, I will pass it back to Mayor Duggan.
So I've been on a number of national forums. Bloomberg Associates has singled Detroit's EITC program as the most effective in the country. And I want you to hear from Tiffany Thomas to talk to you about how it worked for her and how easy it is. So, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Good day, everybody. I just want to say that I've been involved with the Accounting Aid Society since 2013, and I've had a very great experience. What I like most about Accounting Aid Society is that each time I would come to be serviced, they educated me. So, from the most minute part of learning about how taxes work to the greater good of it all, I was educated. And that was the main reason that made me want to return year after year. I noticed a trend, at first my ETC was basically like $2,500, and then years thereafter, it was a little over $3,000. And as a result of all of that, I was able to pay off 3 credit cards, like to 0 balances. My credit score raised tremendously. And now I'm in the process of trying to buy a lovely Detroit home. So that earned income tax money was definitely a blessing. Was able to set up a savings account, that I'm going to use to help put money down on the home. So I says to my son, Micah, I have just one son. I says, son, I want to leave you, a home so that you never have to basically witness any kind of hardship. So, yeah, that's my next goal right now. But I'm just so grateful for Accounting Aid Society. And I appreciate the staff when they educate, they're not condescending. Not everybody is well learned when it comes to taxes. So I really do appreciate the gentleness and the patience.
Well, Ms. Thomas, I took a full year of income tax law in law school, and I can't do my own return. So all of us need help. Talk about how easy it is when you're filing your taxes when you work with the Accounting Aid Society.
Yes, so I want to go back, let's see, just for 2019. So the lady I've been dealing with lately, her name is Mesa, and then Gabrielle is her supervisor. And so because of COVID, we had to do everything online. I was a little hesitant, though, because I'm thinking, wow, okay, you want my W-2s filed like on cyberspace? So she says, no, don't worry about it. We're going to do it through the VITA program. And so we did that, and she gave me a list of what all was needed. And I got all of that stuff together. And guys, I kid you not, I screenshot all kinds of documents, sent them over. Mesa had my taxes done in 2 days. I got my return 4 days later electronically. I was just in awe. And then they did the same for Micah, my son. He's a college student. So previous to that, I would go to the, I think it was called at the time, CDC Center off of the Lodge and Taylor Street. I would go there, file my taxes, and Micah went through too. And at that time, I didn't know because Micah's 21, but he was still being filed as a dependent. So, at first, I was thinking, well, this is a little some trickery going on here, can Micah be applicable? And they were like, yes, he's like a dependent, he can't really stand on his own. You're basically footing most of the cost. Got an earned income tax credit for using Micah as a dependent. So he and I split the money, so, he was able to buy some more books, and I can't remember what I did with my half, but it all worked out so well, so, yeah.
Okay, well, a lot of times we ask people who have benefited from programs, but I'm not sure we've ever had anybody who could explain the program as well as you have done here, and it gives you a sense that the earned income tax credit is a tax break for people of lower means, and it's real money. So please go to claimyourrefund.com and get your appointment, and with that, we'll take any questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Larry Screw at WDIV Local 4. I have two questions for you, Mayor. When it comes to the expansion of the food workers and the security guards and the janitors, do they have to be a certain age, or does age play a factor in that, as long as they're in those occupations?
No. If you are handling our food supply, we want you to be COVID-free. And if you're interacting with all of those boxes and jars, the potential for spread is obvious, and we want you to be COVID-free. So it doesn't matter. You work at a grocery store, you work at a restaurant, doesn't matter what your age is, you're handling the food. You call up, tell them what company you work for, and bring your pay stub or your employee ID, and you're eligible.
My second question, for the delivery, the more vaccine deliveries, do we know if they're Pfizer or Moderna, how many more vaccines are we getting?
So we get 15,000. We have a commitment from the Biden administration, thanks to the governor's help. We got a commitment of 15,000 a week coming to the city. There's also vaccines going to DMC and Sinai Grace and Henry Ford and a number of others. And those, we want you to go ahead and use those. But we have 15,000 a week at the city, and we're using those at the TCF Center and in Denise Fair's direct outreach to the senior centers and the homeless shelters.
My last question, are there any plans, I know right now it says 65 and older, if you don't work in those occupations, are there any plans to lower that age to 60 anytime soon?
Yeah, so I am following the governor's directives, and there are groups of eligible employees. And so the next group would be those in the manufacturing industry. And that would be the next group up in the next week or two. Hopefully, we'll be catching the people at the Jeep plant and people at Flex and Gate and the others. That would be the next up. But right now, we got to show when we're moving basically 2,500 to 3,000 people through every single day at TCF. When those appointments, people in those categories start to drop a little bit, we expand again because we're going to make sure we fill every slot. So I would say sometime next week or two, manufacturing is probably coming next.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, we've got a number of reporters that are watching remotely. Christina Hall from the Detroit Free Press wanted to know if we have a sense as to how many individuals are eligible in the new groups that we're announcing today.
Several thousand.
Okay.
But I don't have the employer rolls. We know we did this. Some people remember back in March and April with the testing, when we expanded from elderly to expanded to food service workers and restaurant workers, and it was a large number that came through.
Okay. She also wanted to know if there's any plans yet to expand to Saturdays or to off-site locations like clinics or another parking garage.
So right now, we have 15,000 vaccines, and we are having no trouble using them up Monday through Friday at one site. I think in the next 2 weeks, you will see us start to move to some combination of community centers. If the governor were to give us 20,000, we would go to Saturday, but we're not having any trouble getting through 15,000 Monday through Friday right now. But I would expect in the next 2 weeks, we will start to be talking about multiple locations around the community. And Denise Fair and Iris Taylor, our nursing director, are working on those sites right now.
Okay, Annalise Frank from Cranes has indicated that Wayne County and the city as a whole have received fewer doses than Oakland and Washtenaw counties on a per capita basis. per state data, and I want to know if we've been able to ascertain what the formula is that the state's using for distribution.
I don't have any issue with what the state's using. The state data was what got us the 15,000 vaccines a week. So there's even more data behind that, which shows what the hospitals have done. But if you look today, Macomb County's probably 70,000 vaccines. In Detroit, somewhere between 20 and 25,000. It is entirely a function of the hospitals. The hospitals in Macomb County have done an outstanding job, but their patients tend to be linked on personal health records. And I talked about this the last two sessions. The way the hospitals in this state are distributing these are to patients with personal health records. In Detroit, our residents tend not to have a primary care doctor as often, tend not to be on the internet as often. If they are on the internet, they may not be on a personal health record. And if they're on a personal health record, it might be with their doctor and not with a hospital. And so that was a case I made to the Biden administration and to the governor, is that in Oakland County, the hospital system's done a wonderful job. In Washtenaw, the hospital systems have done a wonderful job of reaching large numbers of people. In Detroit, we have to fill that role. And that's why the governor tripled the allocation to us at the TCF Center. And so we have to, as a city health department, try to offset the fact that, what COVID has done is expose the disparities in healthcare that have existed in this country for a long time. And this is one of those disparities, and we have to offset it with the TCF Center and the health department. That's just the reality. But at 15,000 a week, we're going to do a lot better than at 5,000 a week, and that's where we are.
Okay, and I think that speaks to a couple other questions that reporters had in terms of what is being said by some suburban communities about receiving less to their departments versus what the city has gotten in terms of the vaccine.
Yeah, I saw that Mark Hackle said that, and I guess my first reaction was I was happy for Macomb County. The county executive Hackle is taking COVID seriously. It was just a couple of months ago that he was publicly supporting the Unlock Michigan petition drive to take away the governor's ability to protect people on COVID. So maybe after the numbers of infection rates, it's changed. But I'm glad County Executive Hackle is taking it seriously now. I think he should be advocating on behalf of his residents. That's what a county executive should do. But if you look at the data, just go to the vaccine dashboard. There's upwards of 70,000 people vaccinated in Macomb, and County Executive Hackle probably isn't aware of it, but the Macomb County hospitals have probably vaccinated 60,000 of those folks. And so the reason the president and the governor did what they did was they said in Detroit, the hospital distribution system isn't reaching the residents. And so they made the allocation of the Detroit Health Department. But if our hospitals had vaccinated 60,000 before Denise Fair did one, again, we would be in a different situation. But anybody who wants to know, all you have to do right now is go to the State of Michigan COVID vaccine dashboard, and you'll see what we're talking about. Today, 10% of this state's gotten its first dose, 3% of Detroiters. We have to close that gap, and that's what we're doing at the TCF Center.
Okay, and that's to the one point that I think it might have been Annalise from Cranes had asked, is do we have a sense or a target for when we might be able to catch up in Detroit to what the state average is?
Yeah, I don't know about catch up, but we have to start to close the gap. And, we study these things all the time. The number of Oakland and Macomb County hospital distribution is just astonishing. And it's good. I think it's a very good thing that they're doing it. We're talking to DMC, we're talking to Henry Ford, but it's not necessarily their fault. Our patients are not online on personal health records the same way, and it means we're going to have to do twice as much to get to the same point. And at the TCF Center right now, we are doing twice as much.
Okay. One more question from Annalise. She noticed that on the city's dashboard that the percentage of doses that we've received, that we've administered, has gone way down.
Right.
She knows that it's probably a function of the fact that we just got the 15,000, but
Right.
she wanted to know if there are any other factors
No,
that
there's
are...
no other factor. 15,000 doses showed up yesterday, and so the percentage that's been vaccinated, we're totally transparent and up to the minute, goes down. Every day when you get to next Friday, we'll be up to 80 or 85% will have been gone. And then next Monday, when 15,000 more come in, we'll drop again. It is totally a function of the 15,000 that arrived yesterday.
Okay. And we have one question from WWJ regarding business citations, including one that was issued the other day to Lafayette, Coney Island, and the reporter wanted to know, since the employees had masks on but below their chin, if there's any ability for leniency when you're enforcing, or what other kinds of reasons do businesses state for why they should not be cited?
Sure. So overall, the public has been really great in helping us to beat this pandemic. They have been helpful by calling us, by sending us messages on Facebook, emails, letting us know of a particular restaurant that is not following the rules. And so it's our standard practice to make sure that we review every single complaint. We take them very, very seriously. And within 24 to 48 hours, our inspectors are at that particular location. For Lafayette, again, this is our standard practice. We did observe a couple employees not wearing their mask properly, and so we did issue a citation similar to the rest of our almost 60 businesses in the city of Detroit who have received citations. In terms of leniency, we have been lenient. We've been given multiple warnings to business owners, and it's really time for the owners to step up and be accountable, and they have been. There's just a few handful that need to make sure that we enforce the rules properly.
Okay, and one last question from WWJ, back on a different topic. Mayor, do you believe that high school athletes should be playing games sooner than February 21st, and is this hurting those students?
I'm going to express those opinions to the governor, and we're having those conversations.
Okay. All right, that was the last question.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.